I guess on the first episode, I said, my cars are going to shape the world.
Engines blazed, sparks ignited, and steel yielded under the hands of a craftsman who could forge dreams from scrap. But then, without warning, the noise ceased. The garage fell silent, the videos vanished. And fans were left to ponder a single chilling question: how does an individual with such deep talent, passion, and creativity suddenly disappear from the very world they inspired? This is the poignant saga of Chad Hiltz of Bad Chad Customs. A life dedicated to building that captured global admiration only to face an abrupt and mysterious stop. It's not what you have, it's what you can make. Chad once said, I guess on the first episode I said, my cars are going to shape the world. He built them from found objects, taken from everything. I'm not happy with all my mistakes. From refuge to reality, Chad Hiltz was far more than a simple car builder. He was an artist who transformed discarded metal into mobile sculptures. Where others saw broken junk, he saw untapped treasure. Armed with little more than wire hangers, rusted steel fragments, and sheer tenacity, Chad crafted vehicles that captivated audiences globally. His gift didn't just construct cars. It generated a feeling of excitement and genuine hope. At his side was Jolene McIntyre, his devoted partner in life and vision. Together, they made Bad Chad Customs something greater than a TV series. It became a powerful testament to effort, partnership, and perseverance. Viewers witnessed love, struggle, and ingenuity all woven into the fabric of the show. Then, nearly without a trace, the program ceased airing. There was no concluding farewell and no clear statement. Fans were left bewildered, desperately wondering what force could halt such an inspirational journey. To fully grasp the ascent and sudden disappearance, one must begin at the genesis. Chad Hiltz was born on the final day of August in 1971. His parents, Doug and Patricia, raised him in a small town where the persistent roar of machinery was commonplace. Chad's father ran the White Rose gas station, and it was there, amidst the scent of gasoline and motor oil, that his automotive passion took root. A distinct childhood memory remained, working alongside his father on a three-window 1934 coupe. That formative experience ignited an enduring spark within him. From that point on, cars were not mere transports for Chad. They became vehicles for expressing creativity, liberty, and pure delight. As he matured, Chad attempted a conventional path. He attended college and even completed an auto bodywork course, but formal education never suited his independent spirit. He experimented with various jobs, including stints in grain mills and other trades. Yet, nothing felt right. The unwavering impulse to build, create, and perpetually experiment with cars never subsided. This drive eventually led to the establishment of Green Goblin Customs, a humble garage that became his sanctuary for creation. There, Chad fabricated unbelievable vehicles using whatever resources he could locate. Issuing pricey equipment or pristine materials, he frequently substituted coat hangers for welding wire and repurposed metal others had discarded. His imagination and dexterity rendered the impossible achievable, and people started taking notice. What made Chad Hiltz unique wasn't solely his craftsmanship, but the vision in his mind. Where most people saw decay, he saw beauty waiting to be liberated. Locals often joked he could construct a Bugatti from mere chicken wire and willpower. This singular perspective, combined with his authenticity and forthright personality, quickly earned him a dedicated following who admired both his mechanical work and his character. The pivotal moment in Chad's story occurred when he encountered Jolene McIntyre. Bad Chad Customs wasn't born in a high-tech studio or corporate office. Instead, it started in the most unassuming location, a parking lot. But that brief moment would reshape both their futures forever. One evening, Chad drove one of his wildest builds to a local pub. The car defied all convention. It started as a 1962 Chrysler Windsor, but Chad Stouch morphed it into something entirely new. He christened it the Green Goblin, and its imposing size and design compelled onlookers to stop. Working inside the tavern was Jolene McIntyre, a young woman with limited knowledge of automobiles at the time. A friend persuaded her to step outside and examine the strange vehicle. The car was bold, audacious, and original. But what captured Jolene's attention even more was the man who built it. That initial interaction was unplanned, yet profoundly impactful. An immediate connection formed between Chad and Jolene. It marked not just the beginning of a romance, but the dawn of a creative alliance. Chad possessed the talent to sculpt metal into art, while Jolene offered sharp organizational skills and a natural aptitude for business. Their strengths were distinct, but together they formed a perfect team. They recognized what fans worldwide were beginning to see. A compelling narrative worth sharing, an unmatched builder, and a partnership too real to be fabricated. BY 2019, Bad Chad Customs officially launched on Discovery. The modest garage in Highway 358 near Canning, Nova Scotia, instantaneously became a global focal point. What resulted was a show unlike any other in the automotive world. There were no bright lights, manufactured conflicts, or cheap tricks. Instead, it featured Chad, Jolene, and their tireless team pouring sweat and soul into every creation. They took discarded parts and molded them into aspirations, and fans cherished every moment. Across 2 compelling seasons and 15 memorable episodes, Bad Chad Customs became a unique gem in automotive broadcasting. The show didn't prioritize speed or slick editing. It focused on storytelling on 4 wheels. Viewers got an intimate look at every weld, every paint stroke, and every inventive leap. Each build carried emotional weight, and many of the cars felt less like projects and more like characters in their own ongoing narrative. Among the standout creations was the resurrection of a 1969 Chevrolet Camaro. This car exemplified Chad's rare gift. It wasn't merely restored, it was reborn. Blending the power of classic muscle with novel custom modifications, Chad and his crew engineered a masterpiece that reminded viewers why the Camaro was so beloved initially. Another highlight was the revival of a long-forgotten pickup truck discovered in an old barn. Instead of reshaping it entirely, Chad opted to honor its past. He retained its natural wear and age character, simply providing it with a renewed existence. Chad and his crew engineered a masterpiece that reminded viewers why the Camaro was so beloved initially. Another highlight was the revival of a long-forgotten pickup truck discovered in an old barn. Instead of reshaping it entirely, Chad opted to honor its past. He retained its natural wear and age character, simply providing it with a renewed existence. The truck became more than transportation. It became a rolling piece of history carrying its past forward. And then came the stunning 1955 Chevrolet Bear. This project was a complete frame-up restoration, demonstrating Chad's respect for tradition. Yet, he effortlessly integrated modern refinements. With meticulous upgrades to both aesthetics and performance, the Bear became a perfect fusion of vintage elegance and forward-thinking innovation. Watching that car leave the shop felt like witnessing a legend's return. Another unforgettable project was the 1972 Pontiac Firebird. What started as a derelict shell transformed into a powerful living machine. Chad installed enhanced suspension, custom interiors, and a fierce identity that made it dominant on the road. It was more than our build. By 2019, Bad Chad Customs officially launched on Discovery. The modest garage in Highway 358 near Canning, Nova Scotia, instantaneously became a global focal point. What resulted was a show unlike any other in the automotive world. There were no bright lights, manufactured conflicts, or cheap tricks. Instead, it featured Chad, Jolene, and their tireless team pouring sweat and soul into every creation. They took discarded parts and molded them into aspirations, and fans cherished every moment. Across 2 compelling seasons and 15 memorable episodes, Bad Chad Customs became a unique gem in automotive broadcasting. The response was extraordinary. No longer constrained by producers' or timelines, Chad shared projects with unprecedented depth. Viewers gained a clearer view of his imagination, his struggles, and his artistry. Meanwhile, Jolene provided the structure and organization that kept the content steady and professional. The roster of builds astonished even longtime fans. A Ferrari emerged with sleek lines and undeniable power, carrying Chad's unmistakable signature. A vintage Jaguar was stripped, repainted, and polished until it shone as if it had just left a 1960s showroom. A battered 1940 Plymouth nearly consumed by time was meticulously revived as a proud tribute to history. Perhaps the most exciting highlight was a new YouTube miniseries, Bad Chad Builds Another Bugatti. Serving as a spiritual successor to the project that first brought him fame, it provided comprehensive behind-the-scenes access blended with storytelling and technical skill. Each upload drew tens of thousands of viewers, adding to the momentum Chad's son, Colton, began featuring on camera. The dynamic between father and son added a new dimension of warmth and continuity to the projects. For fans, it felt like observing a legacy being passed down, a clear sign that Bad Chad Customs was no longer just one man's endeavor, but a family tradition growing stronger with time. Their online presence rapidly flourished beyond all expectations. The Bad Chad Customs channel on YouTube surpassed 300,000 subscribers. While Facebook and Instagram were teeming with ongoing engagement from fans worldwide, people tuned in not just for the custom cars, but for the feeling of being part of a story that continued to evolve. Meanwhile, the modest garage on Highway 358 in Canning, Nova Scotia, transformed into something far larger than a local workshop. It became a global emblem of persistence and tenacity, proving that even the most unlikely places could foster greatness. With no producers to satisfy and no network contracts dictating direction, Chad Hiltz was finally in complete control again. He chose the projects, set the pace, and followed his own intuitive sense. At the core of every build was a genuine love for the craft, not a hunt for high ratings. Every upload, whether showcasing a full restoration or just a brief shop tour, conveyed a simple yet profound message. Chad frequently reminded his audience that success was never about luxurious tools or expensive resources. It was always about imagination and the will to create. That message resonated deeply, particularly during a time when so many faced fear and uncertainty. Fans drew inspiration from watching discarded materials become cherished items, a powerful reminder that even through adversity, beauty and progress are possible. Today, the journey steadfastly moves forward. Bad Chad Customs advances, fueled by pure creativity, lifted by community support, and guided by a man who consistently sees potential where others see waste. Its story never ended when the television camera stopped rolling. Instead, it blossomed into something even more meaningful. But passion like his can also become a double-edged sword. The same fire that pushes a person forward can burn them out if it's not balanced. During the filming of Bad Chad Customs, Chad was under intense pressure. Each build had to be more impressive than the last. Deadlines were tight. Cameras were always rolling and expectations were sky-high. As viewers, we saw the magic, but behind the scenes, there was exhaustion, self-doubt, and frustration. For someone like Chad, who values creativity and freedom above everything, the structured nature of TV work slowly became a cage. He was building amazing cars, but he was also losing a bit of himself in the process. Then came the moment that shocked fans everywhere. Bad Chad Customs disappeared from television. One season, Chad and his team were building mind-blowing cars, and the next there was nothing. No announcement, no proper farewell, just silence. Fans went online searching for answers, flooding social media with questions. Many wondered if the show had been canceled or if Chad had decided to go away. The truth, as always, was more complicated than it appeared. Reality TV often gives viewers only a small glimpse of what really happens. While Chad was grateful for the platform Discovery Channel gave him, he also felt restricted by how his vision was being portrayed. The network wanted more drama, more tension, and more entertainment. But Chad wanted to focus on craftsmanship, creativity, and the art of transformation. Eventually, this difference in direction caused friction. Chad and Jolene both realized that staying in the TV system might mean losing the authenticity that made their work special in the first place. So with heavy hearts but firm conviction, they decided to step away. It wasn't an easy choice, but it was a necessary one. One that allowed them to reclaim their freedom. When the camera stopped rolling, Chad could have easily faded into obscurity. Many reality stars do, but Chad wasn't in it for fame. He was in it for creation. Without the pressure of network deadlines, he and Jolene slowly began to rebuild their lives, this time on their own terms. They started uploading content directly to YouTube, sharing behind-the-scenes moments, honest conversations, and raw glimpses of their creative process. It wasn't as flashy as television, but it was real, and fans loved it. YouTube gave Chad something television never could: complete control. He could show every step of a build, talk